We are going to talk about this. We are going to talk about this tonight. This issue right here. Gold Goblin #1. Just absolutely blew my mind, honestly, because of course we got to keep living the trauma. We got to keep living the trauma. What trauma? Oh, this trauma. Okay, for those of you that don't know, there was a line in comics for Spider-Man where he faced off somebody called the Sin Eater. He had this magical gun. I came at the ending of it. He could shoot people and it took away like all your bad sins, right? Well, anyway, those sins were used on Norman Osborn, and so all the sins of him being the Green Goblin were ripped out of him. So now he's trying to make up for all the sins of the past. So as Norman's been now cleansed of his sins, he's been trying to live a better life. He created the Gold Goblin suit to help out Peter. Peter's been working with him. They've been doing this whole thing trying to, rebrand his image because he's no longer got the sins of the Green Goblin in him. Here's the problem with that, though. Norman still remembers everything. And by everything, I mean... And that's the big problem, right? While he may be cleansed of his sins, they still happen. The past still happens, so he still remembers everything that he did as the Green Goblin. So now he has to figure out a way of getting past that. Well, in issue #1 of Gold Goblin, he is remembering all those sins. Every single one of them. Now, when it specifically comes to Gwen Stacy, they're not shy about the fact that he's the reason she broke her neck. So he's remembering all the sins of the past, all the people that he's hurt, all the people that he's maimed over time. But as it's coming to Gwen Stacy, he's hanging out with his grandson who's at the batting cages. And it just seems like every time that his grandson hits a bat, you hear a snap. And it keeps going crack and snap. Crack and snap. Crack and snap. And it gets worse because when he's seeing Peter later and Peter's telling him that things have changed, that they know that he is the Gold Goblin, and he's like, how the hell did they find out? But he's also like, I'm not a goblin anymore. Like, Peter's like, well, I mean, come on, man. And then snap. And he's like, no, I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm a good guy now. I promise. I am. I really am. And snap. And that's, not the end of it. He's trying to put it behind him. He's like, let me just move on. If I just move on, maybe if I go focus on something else, everything will be fine, right? But the sins of the past don't go away that easily. Because he's saying no more goblins, Gwen Stacy's ghost shows up. And he's remembering the fact that he saw Peter talking to her during the Judgment Day event, which, oh man. If you have not read Avengers, X-Men, Judgment Day, Eternals as well, I cannot say this enough. Great series. Everything they've done with the X-Men since they revitalized them in, I think, 2019, 2018 now, has just been gold. But this issue right here was like icing on the cake because everyone's being judged on the earth. And as they're being judged by people they loved or may have let down. And so Peter got judged by Gwen Stacy, and it was a beautiful moment. Anyway, Stacy's telling him he's not going to get out that easily. He's like, you're not the victim here. Like, we need to be fair to the actual victims like me. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, how about now? Snapping her neck. Jesus Christ. Oh my goodness. And he's not, we're not talking about guilt, Mr. Osborn. Welcome to it. Norman's not getting off that easy as he's remembering this. Down to when, even back a little bit, when he was talking to Peter again. As he's talking to Peter, Peter's just like, it's all good, but Goblin's seeing her neck snapping. They showed the vertebrae this time of her neck snapping. So obviously, Norman's just traumatized. He's trying to, get away from his past. While you may be sinless, you still remember the things you did, and you gotta live with that. What living with your sins or your memories of your sins actually means in terms for Norman Osborn, now the Gold Goblin. No idea. But this was an insane first issue because just of all the things Norman has done, both Norman and the rest of the comic book community knows it will never be as bad as this. Anyway, thank y'all for getting caught up with me once again. Just wanted to share that issue with you as I'm going through the Dark Web series right now, which has, Peter fighting the clone Ben Reilly as Chasm, and Madeline Pryor, the clone of Jean Grey, because they want revenge for being cloned. It's a sad world apparently. But thank you. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.